Hey guys, Billy Epperhart here, and today I want to talk about something else that's out of my book called Money Mastery. You can get this in your local bookstores or on Amazon.com. And today I want to talk to you about how to have confidence to design your future. And this is an important aspect of your life, is understanding how to move yourself forward. One of the things I would say is number one is learn to identify your priorities and values. And I think one of the key things in our life is understanding what's important to us. Now, what I've learned is as you live the different phases of life, sometimes what is important to you can change, or in other words, the values you have. But what you're really looking for, and when we talk about values, is those foundational values that are never going to change. And then in each season of your life or phase of your life, you will add to those foundational values things that are important to you in that time. And then priorities. And so values are what you believe and how you function and operate. Priorities are really what you want to accomplish. In other words, what is it that I'm trying to achieve in this season, whether it's the next 6 months, next 12 months, next 3 years. So you've got to identify your priorities, your goals, because what really happens is it draws you like a magnet. Those priorities, when you identify them, and I heard this many years ago, just learn to write them down. There's something about writing them down. An older man asked a younger man one day, he said, for us to get started in me helping you on how to improve, he said, my first question is, can you show me your list of goals? And the young man looked at the older man and said, well, I don't have a list. So the older man said, well, is it out in the car, or is it in your boat, or maybe it's at home? And the younger man said, no, I don't have a list anywhere. And so the older man said to him, well, son, that's where we need to get started, is in that list. So you've got to identify. When we talk about identify in writing what your priorities and values are, and they'll work as a magnet to take you there. Number two is really identify your purpose, and that is, what is it that you really want to accomplish? What kind of impact do you really want to have, in the world? Proverbs chapter 20 says that a man of understanding, in the Old Testament, says a man of understanding will literally draw out the purposes of God in their life. And so you have to find what those purposes are inside of you. And as you continue to live through the phases of your life, I believe your purpose becomes more clear. But do your best now to identify what you think your purpose is now. And then number three is learn to ask for the things you desire. Psalms 37 tells us to delight ourselves in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And so one of the things I've learned about desire is this, is that if I have been doing what I call the spiritual disciplines in my life and been walking before God where I should, I realize many times the desires, as I look back on my life over really 45 years or so of looking at me walking out this as an adult, I've learned that sometimes real desires that are in me were given to me by God. And first, when I was younger, I always thought, well, maybe that's me. But I've learned over the years, if there's a real desire for something, now I'm not talking about the things like we would call your flesh or what your body wants. I'm talking about the real desires, not just spiritual desires, but heart desires. Because real heart desires will include spiritual desires, but they'll also include desires that have to do with your purpose and your destiny and where you're headed. So I believe that if you delight yourself in the Lord, that's the key. He will give you the desires of your heart because He's the one that puts them in there. Then number four is have the courage to take action toward what it is you believe those priorities and goals are. And really, really accomplishing any goal, headed toward any goal, watch this now, half of that is just getting started. In other words, just begin. Excuse me, take the word begin. Just begin. Have the courage to take action towards your goal. If you'll just start taking action and begin, there's all kinds of things you'll discover and you'll learn. Hey, so this is Billy Epperhart, and remember, Money Mastery. We're talking about these things. I'll see you right back here. Bye-bye.